Mayor live, live, and I'm very lively today because it's a Friday and Trump is ahead. In fact, it's a long time until the election. I will say all the proper things about polls. Long way to go. Um, it is true several high-level Democrats threw themselves out of buildings today. Um, but here's the real thing. Nobody expected that it would be like this. I mean, I go back I go back to the 2016 election, and in the states we're going to look at now in a minute, Trump was behind by 5 to 10 points in every single one of them. And then I'm going to point out something very interesting about these states, but I want you to think about it first because I want to develop critical thinking. So right now, Trump is ahead in 6 of the 7 battleground states. If he won every state where he is ahead, he would go over 300 electoral votes, which would be about the margin of Obama's 2 victories. Uh, Now here let's look at, if you can, the states that we're talking about. Uh, except for Wisconsin, he's ahead in all of them, and in Wisconsin, he's tied. So let's go through them. Do you want to? How would you like me to do that? Like that?
It's kind of straight with it. Straight. See how it's a little crooked? Yeah, there we go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. So let's start with let's start out west. Nevada. So he lost Nevada in 20 by 3 points. At least they say he did. And right now he's winning it by 4. So that's a flip around of 7, right? Now, would I say that's a for sure? Yeah, and I'll tell you why. The cheating done there is not quite as professional as some of the. I'll tell you the ones I really worry about in a minute. And also, if he stays ahead, he should win that state. I am not surprised he's ahead this time in Arizona. I'm surprised that Carrie Lake is not ahead in Arizona. Very surprised, because I can't believe there'd be anybody in Arizona that, in their right mind, that would vote for a Democrat. Well, they're out on the damn border. You know, when they get jammed up in Texas, they all come over into Arizona. When I say all, I mean these are people that are not. We don't know who they are. These are people. A lot of people come over the areas of the border where there's no one. And because of the large numbers, astounding record-breaking numbers of people that are coming in, the Border Patrol is strained beyond any capacity to deal with it. And of course, all they do is escort people in anyway. Even when the reason that whole bill was ridiculous is that he wasn't going to use Border Patrol to stop people from coming in. He's going to use the Border Patrol to help people coming in. That's why he went to court over the wire. You know, he never took down the wire. And Texas is doing pretty well right now. Abbott's doing pretty well and keeping the numbers there down, but they're way up in Arizona. Then why don't we come around to Georgia? Georgia, Fanny the Hose State, good old honest Atlanta. I don't know how many people are under investigation there, but I mean, I think to be an official, a top level Democrat in Fulton County, Well, you figure it out. You see that Fannie, they didn't even get excited when she said under oath, "Oh, the cash that I gave to my lover to reimburse him for the trips, I never gave him a check or a credit card," which translates into there's no record of this. But they're so damn crooked that they didn't even get excited. The judge is so damn crooked, he didn't get excited when she said, "Oh, I took the cash from my campaign fund, a lot of it, and I used it." What? Not a judge in New York, because I think we'll find out from Bill O'Reilly that if the judges in Atlanta are crooked, the judges in New York aren't crooked, they're just owned by the politicians. Because they're appointed by and they're decided on by the Democrat district leaders and county leaders. And of course, these are people that are. Why do you think the budget in New York is, New York State is twice the budget of Florida? And the budget of New York City, I think, is higher than the budget of the state of Florida. We have 8 million people, and they have 22 million. Think we're stealing? I know we're stealing. So Georgia is just a 1-point lead, which is more than he lost by. He lost by less than a point. Ha 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 ha. I don't even know how I got those words out. Then we can move from there to a state that he actually won last time, but he won it. He won it by. He won by less than a point. Now he's winning by 6, North Carolina, and I think that's. I think that's okay. I'd take a better look at Virginia than they are, particularly with the parent issue. You can see Virginia's all blue right up there. See that all blue? That should be like starting to show a little red signs. That's the place where they want to, masturbate. Mutilate. Yeah, they probably want to do that too. They want to mutilate They want to mutilate your kids and not tell you. I don't know about the other. They might not tell you about that either. That's the place it all started with the master salesman of the Lincoln bedroom saying that you shouldn't have anything to say about the education of your kids. No. Who are you? You're just a parent. Kid belongs to the state. Didn't Karl Marx say that? Hitler, Stalin, they were all in line with them. But so that one we're winning. That one Trump is winning big. Then we move a couple of states up to Pennsylvania, where Trump has a 3-point lead. He lost by 2. Huh. On the night of the election, when I left the White House, he was winning it by 750,000 votes. And I was told, and I have been told since then, that it was statistically impossible with the number of votes left to change it. But then we found out about never getting to see a ballot, 750,000 votes examined without a Republican ever getting a chance to see the piece of paper. And we found out about the trucks that came in, and then the FBI talked to the guy, and the guy goes hinky, and now he's saying, no, those were ballots. Then we go to a place that is very familiar to Mr. Ted, who's sitting here. And that's a nice lead for Michigan, 3 points. That's what he lost by. He lost by 3. He's ahead by 3. That's a 6-point swing. That's one I think he won, but I can't be sure of that one. That's one that. Well, I just have to leave it that way. I mean, there are some I'm sure of from, like the next one, Wisconsin. No doubt about it. And that's the only one he's tied in. Does it seem odd to you that the states that were the disputed states, The states where they stopped the vote count, not the others, all ended up being for Biden. And does it surprise? And North Carolina was not one of them. They didn't stop the vote count in North Carolina. And is it odd to you that in every state in which they stopped the vote count, even one where it was ahead by 750,000 and a couple where it was ahead by 3% with very little to go, they lost every one, like not 3-3 or something? And is it that shocking to you that he's ahead right now? Could this be the actual vote that took place? Could this be close to the vote? Except he won Pennsylvania by more than that. Not far off. I can tell you they stole Georgia, they stole Wisconsin, and they stole Pennsylvania and Arizona. Michigan, I can't be sure of. Nevada, I can't be sure of. In North Carolina, we won. This time, we better be ready for them. Got a nice lead. Some of the states are a little beyond the margin. Not everybody's Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, is professional at stealing votes. Some of the others are just, they're working on it. They're amateurs. So it really looks good for Trump. The biggest problem for him is these cases, and if there is a conviction, it'll be phony as hell. But will it change people's mind? I somehow don't think it'll have the impact they think it'll have, because they've been wrong. They thought the indictment. I mean, who the heck can withstand 4 indictments? Except the American people can see that these aren't 4 indictments. These are 4 phony pieces of paper intended to interfere. This is like Russian collusion. This is the latest chapter in the we'll do anything to stop Trump from being president, because if he does become president, we're going to first we're going to lose a lot of money that we're making by stealing, and we're going to lose a lot of power that might even be more important. Gee, those cocktail parties won't be nearly as many, and people won't be buying all kinds of stuff for us. And we won't be getting all the campaign contributions. I mean, it's going to be really tough on. It's also going to be tough on them because Trump's not going to go after them the way they go after us unfairly. He's going to go after them fairly. We know what that means. A lot of them are going to go to jail, not because of vindictiveness, but because of justice. Did you ever hear that? Justice. So right now, I guess maybe another indictment, and he'd go up to about 10 points. Huh? What do you say? So I also want to remind everyone that tomorrow, the next night, on Saturday night at the Islanders game in Nassau County, there's going to be a very, very big 50-50 raffle, and the proceeds are going to go to the Diller, Detective Jonathan Diller family, to his wife and that wonderful little boy and that wonderful wife of his. How Trump doesn't win with the border ridiculously open is beyond anything you can contemplate. Today, Biden came up with 2 gigantic lies. The first one is he never said that he would close the border. He's always been for an open border. Now, for about a month and a half, wasn't he pushing a bill with the Republicans that said that? And remember, we even made fun of him when he did it. Well, we make fun of him all the time. It's so easy. Even before he was demented and senile, he was easy to make fun of because he was so damn dumb. But remember, he whispered something about how he would he could close that border down if Congress would just give him control of the border patrol. The Constitution gives him control of nobody else. The men like to know who controls the border, but it's probably one of those. You know why he doesn't know he controls the border patrol? Because Obama really does, from behind the curtain. you know, he's Prince Obama is also the Wizard of Oz. He's behind the curtain, and he's saying, you know, let them all in. So today, one of his aides said that he has a new one, Julie Chavez Rodriguez. The president doesn't talk about shutting down the border. He was talking about it for 2 months. At least they're telling the truth. He ran on an open border. He told them to surge. He invited them. He helps them come in, and he gives them a fortune. And then morons like Adams give them debit cards, and they go around, banging people in the head, raping people, killing people. Very smart. So a couple of days ago, they arrested 8 people, 8 aliens, illegal aliens, from not exactly from a couple of different places, I think. Um, and they were in possession of guns. They pointed a gun at someone. They were in possession of drugs, and they were right across the street from, isn't that nice, PS 56. At one point, they're going to empty out PS 56 so these bums could live there. So eight of them were arrested for drugs and for possession of guns, which we theoretically take seriously. Aren't we a gun control state? At least we're supposed to be a gun control state. Um, six of the 8 who had guns, who had 2 of them pointed guns at people and terrorized people. 6 of the 8 were let out. They're illegal aliens in possession of guns, waving guns around and drugs, and obviously selling drugs. What are they doing all those drugs there? And they are creating havoc for the neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood are just, they got arrested because finally the cops did something about it. But of course, it's very defeating for these cops might made a big arrest, and within a day or two, they're right back out selling drugs again. Or at least 6 of the 8 of them are. The alleged gunman, Hector de Sousa Velada, was cut within a day on supervised release by Judge Eugene D. Owen of the criminal court. Please remember, set him loose, Eugene D. Bowen, if he ever runs for the Supreme Court. You should get no votes.
Well, man, not to mention there was also children living in that house with these people.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they still let a couple of them out on bail, supervised release. Yeah.
There are 6 out, and they have 2 in, and we don't know why 2 are in. Oh, and by the way, the DAs did the job here. It's not. I mean, this is District Attorney Katz, and she is not by any means. She is not Melinda Katz is not a Soros liquor. I mean, she's about as close as you're going to get to an old-fashioned Democrat as we have, and an honorable DA. They asked for like a $450 bond and $150,000 in cash for this De Sousa guy, Velada De Sousa. He's got a record. Of course, he's got a record. Even despite that, we let him in. He'd come in twice, I think, illegally, twice. I mean, he's supposed to go to jail for that. But when he came in, they let him out too. So between the Biden and the Democrat judge who should be thrown off the bench, remember the name, Judge Eugene D. Bowen. I think he let out 4 of them without anything, even though the district attorney was pleading for bail. And then he let out 2 on their own recognizance. They're illegal aliens who illegally came into this country. They were in possession of phony documents. They were in possession of guns. They were in possession of drugs. And he lets them out on their own recognizance. Doesn't that mean, Mike, that we trust them?
Yeah, that means we trust them to come back.
Bowen.
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't you take? I don't know if you got a wife and kids. Why don't you take them home?
When you let someone out on bail, that means you trust them to come back.
Why don't you keep after them so they don't hurt anybody like the kids?
No,
What about those kids in the house? Somebody going to take them out?
come on, Mayor.
Then a couple of them got before another judge because this got to be an epidemic. Being a left-wing fool and a communist stooge or whatever the hell else you want to call this criminal court judge, Lawrence Bushing. He let 3 out. They must be like fighting with each other as who could be nicer to the criminals. So now they're back. 6 of them are back there terrorizing the kids. Who knows what they're doing to the kids that are in the. I mean, the biggest crime they commit is not drugs; it's human trafficking. Do these judges ever think of anything? Do they ever think of that? Do they ever think? I mean, these are the bums that we're talking about right there. There they are. If you see them around, run away. They're walking around thanks to Democrat judges. Now, these Democrat judges, they're not elected by anybody. Criminal court judges are appointed by the mayor. But we should find out if Adams appointed these guys. Because every time the judges used to do this, and it became less and less when I was mayor, I would hold a press conference. I take the guy's criminal record and I throw it out across the middle aisle of the press room. And I'd say 44 crimes. And the guy's out. Please write that judge's name down when he comes up for reappointment. Because I'm going to kick him in his ass and throw him out. And maybe you want to leave now because maybe they should really have a jail up in the North Pole. You know, someplace where you're in an igloo or something like that. Or send them down to Philadelphia to do the Philadelphia Eagle games. Migrants walk with no bail in Bronx. This is what we live with here in New York. This is what we live with. Now, they did turn them over to ICE, however, because they're beginning to, the sanctuary city thing is beginning to crack. Had it cracked faster, had it cracked faster, I'm trying to look at the date. Yeah, there'd be no doubt if it cracked faster that Laken Riley would be alive. Jose Antonio Ibarra was also let in twice illegally, also had false documents, also committed in a very short period of time. He has 3 crimes. It is a joint deficiency, a joint crime, really, of New York and Athens, Georgia, that regardless of what the crimes were, they were never turned in by New York or Athens, Georgia. Finally, he got turned in after he took the life of Laken Riley, who'd be alive today if we had a justice system in New York or in Georgia that wasn't run by a bunch of criminal Democrats who either are criminals or love criminals. This is there's the nation's nobleman who killed Laken Riley. His brother is quite a character. They both are members of Trans Aragua gang. We apparently we let in mostly all of that gang. You know, crime is all the way down in Venezuela.
Because they're all here.
No, I mean, crime is all that. That's the. Am I allowed to say "son of a bitch" on?
I think you say that. You can say that. Yeah.
That beautiful young girl. And they had a hold of him. That could have been prevented 3 or 4 times if any of those Democrats had an ounce of decency. We will take a short break, and then we'll take a look at another bum. Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. And we're back. We're back. Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. I have with me Lauren Conlon. Everyone knows Lauren.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, of course. Lauren
Well.
is very, very famous. And I want you to know that we are going to talk about Diddy. What's his name?
Well, it's Diddy. It's
P. Diddy criminal.
so he dropped the
B-
P. It's just Diddy.
I can't
It's
remember.
just Diddy. It went,
Oh, Diddy. Yeah, that's good. That's a good name for a
Yep.
creep like him. But before we do that, I would like everyone to get a look at this guy. This is the guy that killed Officer Diller. He was arraigned the other day. There were 200 comps in court, and he is facing a first-degree murder charge, but he's not facing death. And I would like you to know, could you hand me that piece of paper? Someone just hand me that piece of
When's
paper,
the
right?
last time New York executed somebody?
Well,
Do you recall?
no, not
No.
recall.
Patterson, when the governor,
Yeah.
he ended the death penalty.
Yeah,
So we
well,
don't have that in New York. The
well,
death-
maybe I should say something to David, because by ending the death penalty, I remember Cuomo ended it.
Yeah.
Really,
Right.
Cuomo changed the
Mhm.
parole rules in 2019. Do you know how many cop killers have gotten out since 2019?
37.
Yeah.
So went over last night.
37 cop killers are walking the streets, and there are many more on their way out.
What do you think about the death penalty?
It should happen.
You think-
I would go do it. I'd volunteer. Anybody, and you don't have the guts to do it. I'll do it. Any cop killer, more than happy to do it. I offered to kill bin Laden. I told Bush when I met him, he said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "You could let me execute him." I very much believe in the death penalty. I didn't always. I used to be in charge of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And once, while I was in charge, a lifer killed a guy with 4 kids, a Bureau of Prisons guy with 4 kids. You know what the reason was?
What?
He's going to be in jail for life, and it was boring, and maybe he'd get a trial out of it. It would break up the monotony. When I said, boom, and then all the liberals who, in addition to being wrong about everything and being communists, I've found are really, really intellectually inferior to conservatives, because they have very ignorant ideas that comes from not reading and being brainwashed. But they would say things like, Mario Cuomo used to say this: "Oh, life in prison is much worse than death." Then why the hell do the people who are facing death spend millions of dollars and fight for 20 years to avoid being executed?
Well,
I don't know anybody.
I agree with you.
Once in a while, there's a guy who says, "Execute me." Every once in a while, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100. Most of them fight like hell to stay alive. And because they know they'll get one of these Democrat assholes to let them out. 37. I don't even think there were that many. 37 in just New York. Black Lives Matter. The people that advised them are all cop killers that were pardoned or given clemency by Clinton or Prince Obama or Cuomo. And they teach Black Lives Matter how to fulfill what they ask people to do at every rally, every place. pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. How
Mm.
about kill cops? Kill cops.
So I agree with you, but do you recall the case of Carla Faye Tucker in Texas with
Yes, you
George
made a
W.
mistake.
Bush? Well, no, I'm not even going to say that because
don't
I'm
know.
fully on board with the death penalty. But Carla Faye Tucker, she committed these two gruesome, heinous murders. She was on death row for 20 years, became a Christian, turned her life around in prison, and became this role model for other females. And there was petitions, and this is
Executed?
well, so they said to George Bush, they said, give her clemency. She will do more good on earth in prison right now than she would.
Good in heaven.
Well, and she is there because George Bush said the people spoke, the justice system spoke,
Yes,
and she's been
and
executed.
if
The
she
crime,
was,
she killed two people with a pickaxe, and the second crime was so heinous because
she
the
became a
girl
very good Christian.
allegedly, and
Then she should have no problem.
I mean that's the only one that bothered me. I think everyone else should.
She should thank Bush. He got her up there.
Well, she did when she was on the table. People were
No
like,
problem with Jesus. He'll forgive her.
she said that. So that's the only one that kind of bothered me. I guess that's the only one.
Listen to these
But
Muslims. Why are we worried about killing these Muslim extremists?
oh well,
They're gonna go. Well, I get now.
Yeah.
Actually, they're gonna find out the arithmetic doesn't work. I mean, it's about 50%.
do you also?
And 50% women. You can't have 70. No one. I mean, they can't all get 72 virgins. And I don't care. Even if they wear that hijab stuff, they can't all be. It just doesn't make sense that they're all virgins. I used to watch them come out of Dubai. I mean, the men now, right? Come out of Dubai, and those white robes that come off as soon as they went over the border from Saudi Arabia, and they were in every whorehouse. They were in every place they could go. Then they go back to Saudi Arabia. Not all of them, but a few.
Good guys. Good guys. Really good people.
That's what they're going to get. That's what they're probably going to get, leftovers.
Yeah. Well,
Remember,
speaking
I
of
got-
good
I
guys.
gotta- I know you got to tell us about Diddy.
Yeah.
But do you remember when Saturday Night Live was funny? When this, well, way back, this is like in the early, when I used to be on, and they had a skit. Don't know who played Bush, but somebody who was good.
Dana Carvey, probably. Yeah, it's always Dana Carvey.
It might have, but maybe
Mhm.
we got to go back and find this. But it opens this way. There's the Oval Office, President of the United States. They make it look like the president's interrupting. My fellow Americans, I am here tonight because I've asked the people in my administration to think outside the box as to how we're going to deal with this Muslim extremist problem. And here's what we're going to do. And Dick Cheney agrees with me. We're going to have the Bush Cheney call-in program to try to deter these people. First of all, I'd like to explain to them that suicide bombings, you do not get 72 virgins. That's where I got the line. The arithmetic doesn't work. It's 51% female, roughly, and 49% male. That would not allow, even if they really have that many virgins, it wouldn't allow that many females. And by the way, have you ever seen any of them? There might be a reason why they are virgins. So instead, we're going to have the Bush Cheney phone sex program. You can call in now and you can get your virgins now on the phone. And here, let's listen to them. And we'd have these women up and saying, "Hi, sweet."
I missed that skit. Yeah.
Reason to bomb New York.
Missed it.
Just do what I tell you. It was absolutely hilarious.
I mean, the best one was you, Kevin Nealon playing you, and Chris Farley playing Andrew. Obviously, I think we all know that skit. Are you kidding? Is everybody really silent right now? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Of course I know.
Okay. I'm like, why is everyone so silent? That's like the best skit ever.
All right, now we're gonna play some of those at some point.
So good.
When you put yourself, unfortunately, it was after 9/11.
Oh.
Michael's on stage. They're asking for permission from the mayor of New York City.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to be funny now.
You're gonna start now?
Oh. It's the greatest slide in the history of the show. Why start now?
Oh, that is good. That's good.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll show you how
Good.
I'm
That is good.
Floren's mine.
Oh, really?
What am I?
That's good. That
was bad.
Oh, okay.
Lauren is a genius.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they went squirrely when Prince Obama came out. They couldn't
Go to
and,
Obama's.
and my God, there were so many funny things. That guy, used to say like 40 times in 1 minute. I used to sit there with my wife and count. I used to count the uhs.
It's kind of funny.
But he's coming hundreds.
Mhm.
Uh, 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 uh. So now tell me about Diddy. I lost track of him. I actually thought he had been killed or something.
No, he's very much alive.
Shot?
No, he is not. He has
Did he shoot?
allegedly in 1999 he was involved in a shooting. And it was crazy. I don't think people were surprised when both of his homes in LA and Miami were raided on Monday, March 26th. So this raid was in connection with a federal investigation into human trafficking because Diddy has been accused of running an Epstein-like operation within the music industry. So these are very serious allegations, obviously, and they all stemmed from Cassie Ventura.
Clinton have an ally?
What's that?
Does Clinton have an ally?
Listen, we are
He
finding.
doesn't have one.
His girls were above 18, so he won't.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
And,
a lot of them were, but
Did
some
he
of
have
them
it
were.
right 27 times on the plane, and Clinton didn't sniff it out.
No, I mean this is really serious. So there's about, not including Cassie, there's about 5 civil suits against him right now, but Cassie's was settled pretty much one day after it went public. We don't know exactly how much money she got, but it's assumed she got
And
about
what-
$30 million.
Let's put aside the alleged criminal act.
Well, everything is alleged, right? Because he's not been found guilty of anything.
We have to give him
Mhm.
a benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
What does he do that isn't an alleged crime?
Well, listen, I can tell you from the court docs that he's only filed one opposing motion so far out of these 5 civil suits, and this motion is sealed, by the way, because this plaintiff she was a minor, and she said that Diddy and Harv Pierre, who's the CEO of Bad Boy Records, and one other unnamed male, I don't know how much I can say on here, they gang assaulted her. Allegedly, yep, allegedly. And basically, the judge said, okay, if you want to move forward with this suit, you have to do it with your real name. You cannot remain anonymous, because the civil suit against Kevin Spacey, they had to come out and say their real names.
No, I mean, I know it's harsh, but
Yeah.
here's the truth, and this is where these sex cases are like any other case.
Mhm.
Sometimes the woman's lying, sometimes the man's lying.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Sex,
Yeah.
to me, as a prosecutor, sex has a little bit more of a tendency toward emotional confusion, exaggeration, and even vindictive lying
You could be
than
right.
other crimes.
But in these cases, they're all incredibly similar, and the people coming forward to corroborate these stories, they make them very valid. Like
Oh,
in the terms, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So at this point, a new celebrity is being revealed pretty much daily. And today it was Ashton Kutcher. It came out, and it's that Ashton
What-
Kutcher he had this friendship with Diddy. And of course, we've got the internet here. So people are going back to interviews where Ashton Kutcher said, I can't tell you everything about my relationship with Diddy. Things got pretty wild. And they were both on MTV in the early 2000s. They partied together, and Ashton Kutcher actually he stepped down from this organization that he started a few months ago. It's called Thorn. It's an anti-child sex trafficking group. He and Mila Kunis, his wife, started this, but then they wrote this letter on behalf of convicted rapist Danny Masterson, and everybody was like, what the hell? You allegedly support victims, and now you're speaking out on behalf of this rapist. So
What?
yeah,
Well,
this was
did they say that the rapist was innocent?
no, Danny Masterson is convicted. He's in jail right now.
Has he
So,
turned? Has he turned?
It was for the
He could have the
sentencing.
same solution for him that Bush had for that woman if he turned to being a very devout Christian.
No, he's Danny
he must-
Masterson. No, I mean that. So either way, I think again one of the most damning lawsuits was Lil Rod Jones. He was Diddy's producer, and these suits were very tough to read. There was images of have you not seen these? So Lil Rod says that Diddy tried to lure him into doing these homosexual acts by saying that this producer named Stevie J,
For
who
money or with Diddy?
no, with Diddy and with others, and he wanted to record them, which he did.
As
And this is in this suit. This is per Lil Rod Jones's civil suit against Diddy, which there's no opposing motion as of yet. So essentially, Stevie J was this Grammy-winning producer, or is a Grammy-winning producer, and Lil Rod idolized him. So Diddy said, "Hey, I'm going to show you these videos of Stevie J." And again, I don't know how much I can say on here, but he was in a position of doing a homosexual act to a man unprotected, and he said, "Look, he does it, so you should do it too."
Were
Next
they
thing-
were they adults?
they're adults. Next thing you know, though, Lil Rod wakes up in a bed, disoriented, confused, with Diddy and two other men. So he says. Then there are pictures of Lil Rod and Cuba Gooding Jr., where Lil Rod is saying, "Oh yeah, Diddy was trying to get me to get with Cuba Gooding Jr." So you've got, and listen,
This sounds like that scene in The Godfather when the senator,
Oh, he gets called with the woman.
oh,
yeah, and he doesn't remember. He claims he didn't know. Yeah, he
Mhm.
claims he didn't know what was going to happen. The senator who had demeaned, Vito,
Killed her.
calling it, yeah.
Killed
Well, we don't, you don't. know if they killed her.
Right, yeah.
They could have whacked her.
I think they did.
I don't know. It's a close.
They could all be desperate for airtime.
So what's the
I think my guess is they knew. Now, that's really true. Do you know that when I was beginning my career as a prosecutor, the west side of Manhattan was filled with gay bars. This is before any of the AIDS, like in the 60s and 70s. And it was controlled largely by the Genovese crime family. They owned every one of those bars.
the gay bars.
And and he had a special guy who ran it. It was one guy, like Matty ran the sanitation. It was a big business. Now, why did they have those bars? They had those bars. One, going to cash.
Mhm,
In those days, bar business was all cash.
mhm.
People, they buy their 45-cent glass of beer or 45-cent scotch.
That sounds good. 45
That's
cents
unbelievable.
for.
And it was all, I mean, I was a bartender I never remember taking a credit card. It's all cash. Great business for organized crime. Second reason. Where's my camera? Oh,
Black hair.
Yes.
that nice judge that we may come in front of someday.
Mm,
Now you're in front of him, and somebody goes up and sees him and says, "How would your wife like to see that picture? How about your kids?
yeah.
Oh, and how about the newspapers?
Right.
Or a congressman or assemblyman or head of a big company that we want to get some moolah out of, or maybe we just want to shake it down, pal."
Yeah. I mean, look
You
at
don't
Roy.
always have to
Look at
break your
Roy.
legs.
Roy
We could
Cohn.
just put a picture out. But I mean, Roy is the
Roy would never come out and admit that he was gay, and it's really sad.
Roy,
but- Mhm.
Roy represented Fat Tony Salerno
Yeah.
when we even before we convicted him. Fat Tony Salerno gave us a couple of little things that are very important. He gave us the Supreme Court ruling that you can hold people without bail if they are a danger to the community. Do you know the only state that doesn't take advantage of that is the communist, perverted, Democrat controlled state of New York?
I was going to say it's New York.
So for example, in almost every other state, Detective Dill will be alive. The guy
So upsetting.
the guy with 22 of those. Plus, well, we don't have the career criminal any longer. We don't have the 3 strikes and you're out. 3 strikes and you're out was very successful in California. It reduced. They attributed a reduction of about 22% to that. This idea from the half-wit Hasty that crimes do not deter is worth impeaching him. When you consider that deterrence includes deterring the person.
Mm.
So if you add a couple of extra years, like on the sentences for this guy with 22 arrests, he would have been in jail and never been able to kill anybody.
Kathy Hochul doesn't want to make him sad, so
Hey,
let's
once-
not offend him.
Once you're in jail, you can't. I mean, you can commit crimes in jail, but you can't commit crimes on people out in the street. I mean,
Yeah.
Deterrence has two parts to it. One is general and the other is individual. And to dispute individual makes you an uneducated ignoramus, among other things.
Mm.
So we'll
Yep.
be right back, and we'll see what the other uneducated ignoramuses are doing to our poor country.
The new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
So I have a couple of items that I want people to get because they're not going to get it in anyplace else because the news is all phony. And for example, Biden showed up again yesterday morning with the things on his face from the sleep apnea thing that he wears.
Oh.
And but he showed up at noon. They only last on your face about 20 minutes. And he puts makeup on. They must have one hell of a, what is it called? A CPAP machine? They must have one hell of a machine.
Woke him up at 11:45 a.m.
He quits at 4. It's like a 4-hour day. And half the time he's on vacation. And when he's there, he's working on a sleep apnea machine most of the time. I guess, I wonder if Jill just puts it on him to shut him up. I don't like her. I call her the stepmother in chief because of the way she treated the last grandchild and wouldn't put the Christmas stocking
the
out. So
Navy, that's
the
sad.
Navy,
Yeah.
which has to break the kid's heart.
Very
And
sad.
eventually will be traumatizing for that kid. And also the way Joe, basically when his son said to him something the press never writes, when his son texted him, "I'm a danger to the children." And there are hundreds of pictures showing him running around that house with no clothes on, calling up prostitutes, smoking dope that was so bad that it would fill a room, 2 minor kids in a house. But Joe did nothing about it because he didn't give a damn about his grandchildren. He doesn't want any problem for his political career. And that's why he never recognized the grandchild. Half the guys in the mafia wouldn't have done that.
That's very true. I always say that.
Half
The
guys in the
Italians,
mafia
they're
were not just
good.
Italian.
They're good family men.
A lot of criminals wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a criminal, not be evil. You could be a criminal and just be bad.
You can Jean Valjean, okay? You can
I
eat a loaf of bread and be fine.
He's an evil man. I mean, we just got to live with it. He's an evil man.
Yeah.
So we got up late the other day again. I guess he's still working on trying to remember. See, I want to go talk to him. I want to ask him what the view is like when he went over the Francis Scott Key Bridge on the train. For many, many years, for 30 years, he went over that bridge, and that poor bridge went down because his Secretary of the Treasury, Little Petey, didn't know that container ships could take down any bridge in America. That's what he said. I think he'd be doing something about that.
Yeah.
Well, Little
Bridge went down to the racist.
What?
It's a racist bridge.
Oh, it's too low.
Yeah. It's
You know, when they built those bridges, there were no blacks here. So I mean, they were trying to probably trying to keep Italians out.
Yeah, right.
Greasy Italians. You don't want any greasy Italians going out to Suffolk County. They now
Just pointed at you.
they dominate Nassau and Suffolk County. There's so many Italians out there.
I don't know if the Italians are allowed in Suffolk County. There's some, that place is a little weird, but Nassau definitely. Yeah, Nassau, yeah. Suffolk. Suffolk County's a weird place, man.
No, Lower Suffolk. You're thinking of some of those Hampton clubs.
Yeah, and like Yaphank, place is weird.
I grew up out
Yaphank has a prison.
Case in point. Grew up out there. There you go.
Yaphank isn't. Are you thinking that it's like very, very, very lost?
Oh, I thought you were talking inbred or something. I didn't know. I thought that's what you were talking about. Sorry. I'm like, I think the opposite of, Oh,
Yaphank is basically a middle class.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
They big state prisons.
Well, it used to be. Now
You want to talk about Southampton.
Yeah, thank
And in the old days, East Hampton, although East Hampton is now largely Jewish, but at one time, if you were Jewish or Italian or you couldn't get into the clubs.
Palm Beach.
It's exactly like Palm Beach.
Palm Beach is too much. Palm Beach is wild, man. It is like it's like a different country, right? So much Lily Pulitzer, and I'm like, I would never fit in there. I'm like, what? I don't know about that.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
You could come with me. We make jokes all the time. We go to dinner, we make jokes about, we look around at the women to try to figure out if we can find commonalities and figure out who the doctor is.
I was just gonna say,
There's
it's all
Dr.
the same.
There's
Yeah.
Dr. Diamond's,
Yep.
there's a diamond face.
I'll be jealous. I'll be like,
There's,
wow, those are nice. I would like a pair. Yeah, those are cookie. Yeah. I would love those. Yeah.
Some of them, like Pelosi, some of them don't have an original body part.
Well, you know what, Mayor? While I have you, could I ask you some questions about the law here? And like, I guess
I can't. I'm suspended.
oh well, okay.
I can't. I'm suspended.
This is
I don't
not
even
legal
know.
advice. Here's a disclaimer, guys. It's not legal advice.
I'm dangerous.
No, I guess
I'm suspended. Do you know I'm suspended because I'm dangerous?
Mm.
I'm very, very dangerous.
Oh, you mean in the state? Okay.
Yeah.
I see what
My little granddaughter Grace. I'm dangerous.
Oh,
Well, the dogs would come up to me.
she too, yeah.
The Chinese the Chinese have first of all, Xi Jinping and Biden had a conversation, and basically Xi Jinping kicked his ass in. Treated him just like exactly what he is, an paid servant. And Biden ended up saying, Taiwan's going to remain independent. Taiwan's going to remain. Remember when he said he was going to attack if they had a change?
You did say that.
We did say because it's against American foreign policy. Now, I don't think it should be, but it is. American foreign policy is we're neutral. And then they had to change it. Then he did it again, and he had to change it because he forgot his demented brain. He lost a few more cells. And now he's like slobbering all over himself, saying, of course it's going to remain independent. We believe in one China. And then he said, that they had a conversation and they had a printout. And you read one printout, you read the other. And he was trying to persuade, how could he talks like he's drunk. Trade will have a harmonious relationship on trade. And Xi Jinping said, you're pushing so hard on trade now, you're coming up to a red line. And it could create hostilities. And he told them he's very serious about taking Taiwan back. Joe, I think Joe urinated when that happened. Like when he defecated in front of the Pope. You don't think he really does that stuff? I think he does.
You know what? Can I ask you?
I think they have somebody feeding them.
While you have so many people watching, could I just point out
You can ask me the question.
well, first there's 2 missing persons cases. I would love for you to flash their photos on the screen. Sebastian Rogers, he's a teenager.
Oh, please.
He's an autistic boy in Tennessee. You just Google search Sebastian Rogers.
Okay, we'll put that up.
Yeah, he's Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's very bizarre.
Henderson.
Yep, Sumner County, Tennessee. That's him. He's 15 years old. They've had search dogs, cadaver dogs. There's literally no scent, no trace, no evidence. This boy disappeared without a trace, allegedly in the middle of the night, according to his mother. It's awful. No sign of him. So people are very worried.
How long ago was that?
A month. 1 month. They found glasses on Monday. The police said they are not his, but the police are not really sharing a lot. I understand that they don't owe us anything. Am I right in that? They don't owe us an explanation. However, there's a lot of volunteers on the ground searching. And
I have a basic disagreement with that
from
the point of view of law enforcement.
Yeah, please.
I tried to use the public to catch criminals.
Yes.
And I was very, very successful in doing that. And Brenton too.
That's a great point.
You've got these mediums of communication. Now, we'd always keep a fact or two back
Mm,
because you can't believe how many false confessions you get.
false confessions.
Yeah, I know. It's totally uncapped.
Yeah.
Particularly when there's serial murders going on.
Oh, they want the glory of being like
Well,
the
yeah.
yeah, that's weird.
And and some of these people who do it, they're obviously psychopaths,
Mm,
and they have a lot of the facts. So
yeah.
if you don't keep back some facts, you're gonna get. I mean, you're gonna be ruined. But by and large, with few exceptions,
Yeah.
these things. I mean, you want it out there to the public.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
A lot of
I
people
feel
don't.
like they're just not necessarily saying everything they know, which is completely fine. Yeah,
There should
yeah.
be enough to identify, to know what areas
Well,
to
I'm
concentrate.
just confused. A month, thousands of miles covered. Their drone searches. It's very worrisome. And then the other case was these two mothers. Their car was abandoned in Texas County, Oklahoma. Now these women were actually from Kansas. It's very confusing. Their names are Jillian Kelly and Veronica Butler. And this is just bizarre. I mean, their car was just on the side of the road and they disappeared without a trace. I've been in touch with a family member, but they are not allowed to speak with the media. So I've been tweeting about this. I've been trying to get it out there. There's some motive with a custody battle. And it's just it's heartbreaking. And last night it was announced that the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation said, well, there's evidence of foul play here, but we're not going to tell you what that is yet. Yes, those are the two women. One of them is a preacher's wife who was the supervisor. Yes, those two.
She's a very young girl, though.
One of them's 27, the other one's 39. They both are mothers.
A very young looking 27. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. They're both mothers. They're both very loved. Jillian Kelly and Veronica
Yeah, I'm
Butler.
gonna get it right.
Yeah. Mayor's got it. Veronica Butler. It's just I mean
when I had
it's
cases like
yeah.
and I was the mayor and I had time, I wasn't working on. I used to love to work on these cases.
I do too. And now that
I'm
we
a
have
good
the
man.
internet, it's like it's
It was a
amazing.
wasted talent. I was a pretty good investigator.
And I'm sure you were. And that's why I'm wondering
I only
about
did it
this.
for
Like
17 years.
so, and I get it. Law enforcement doesn't have to tell you everything. Misinformation happens, blah, 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 which could hinder the investigation. But I do think now people really want to help. They really want to help.
Now, who were the very lovely ladies?
Yeah. I don't have a good feeling, but I'm still praying and I'm still hopeful.
Here, I'll put them up both ways. Get that bum out of it.
And then,
Have it,
We got it on the screen here, man. We don't have to put it on
okay,
oh, you've got thank you for doing that.
here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Put them. We'll do it
She's a
again.
mother of 5 and she's a mother of 2. And I'm
Mm.
just like, oh, yeah,
The people on
there you go.
they can see it too. The people on Instagram. These are the one the younger kind of heavier looking one. What is her name?
Her name's Veronica Butler. They were going to pick up her 2 children at her ex's mother's house who had custody or was the intervener. So
and the other lady.
and she is a preacher's wife who was per the court docs a supervisor going with her.
And what's her name?
That's Jillian Kelly, the supervisor. And yes, that's
A supervisor in what sense?
so again, I'm pulling from the court docs that I looked up that were public, and I actually noticed that I took a bunch of screenshots and everything, and then 3 days later, I don't know if they seal these records, but they completely removed the dockets from the website I was looking at. So I scour these at night. I go through them. So I saw a horrible custody battle.
Missing.
Yeah, they're both missing. Yes,
They're missing together.
together, right? Because they were driving to
When
pick
you
up their
say
children.
supervisor, she's like a
Court appointed.
a child.
But she's a friend. It looks like she's a friend.
I
But
see.
again, I don't know everything.
Why that would make sense
Yes.
to me.
The Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation. Yes. Yes, exactly. And with Sebastian Rogers, they're supposed to contact the TBI, which is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Yes.
Of investigation.
Yes. And it's so funny. It's when I've been looking into this, I get very passionate about it. And then someone also told me to look into a missing persons case out of Derry, New Hampshire, a woman named Amanda Grzuski. So I'm also going to be looking into that as well. So
There was evidence of foul play from the vehicle.
There was, yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I'm not, there's some things on Facebook going around, but I haven't
They're
been
not
able to
sure if they're
confirm.
alive.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say what I think because I don't wanna.
Now, the other one, tell us the other one. Again.
So the Sebastian Rogers. I actually was on Nancy Grace this morning and last week talking about Sebastian Rogers. It's really, really bizarre and
So
really
he's an
troublesome.
Autistic young man?
He's autistic. He has been without his medication for 30 days. He's, or more than that. But I think what's captivated people about this case as well is the interviews from the stepdad and the mom. Many people think they're very odd, the stepdad's behavior. Deception analysts have also stated that the stepdad is not being truthful. He's withholding information in these interviews, and I tend to agree.
Here is the young man.
Yeah, looks like a sweet boy.
We did?
Yes.
Sebastian Rogers.
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
I know. I like, it breaks my heart as a mother.
You know
Just
what all of
regular
these,
Rogers, ROG. Nope.
these obviously apparently don't have a connection to all the human trafficking going on with the illegal aliens.
No.
But we are the
Yeah.
biggest country now for human trafficking in the world
Yeah, it's a
because of what
million-
these illegal aliens are doing.
the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Oh, here, I got it. There you
I
go.
guess the FBI can't help. They're going after those Catholics.
So why can't the FBI help? I guess
They're
Like, I
going
don't.
after Catholics that go to Latin masses.
I mean, oh. Oh, it's just 1-800 TBI find. Sorry, I know. I've literally been covered, so I'm like, here, I can give you everything you need just by memory.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So, and then the other case I will be looking into is Amanda Grzuski, a woman out of Derry, New Hampshire. This woman, Mayor,
Where?
you obviously,
Derry?
yeah, you know the state of Manchester right now, right? You obviously are very familiar. Derry.
name?
What? Amanda Grzuski. It should possibly come up, but my
GR.
GRAZZ.
Yeah. V?
No, Z.
Z?
Yeah. And then
E?
ESKI, something like that. Yeah, the problem with Amanda, I believe that her case is not being looked into because she was, I believe she was a sex worker. I believe she had some addiction issues, but she was a mother and nobody seems to have any idea what happened to her. And I guess police claim that,
Reminds me a little of this reminds me
Yeah.
a little bit of Gilgo Beach, doesn't it?
yeah.
Sex worker missing 3 years now.
Yeah, so I'll be looking into that. I think I'm gonna FOIA request something from the Derry
What could
PD.
be up there? We'll
Please, yeah, please do. And listen, I don't know if I'm allowed to get an open records request for an active investigation. I don't know if this is considered active, but I think a
you
police.
can always make it.
Well, I think a police report would be really helpful to look at in a case like this because it's like, what have they done so far? Who have they spoken to? What, statements? What's going on here? So I'm going to be looking into that. There's just too little time. But I feel like I've definitely pivoted a bit from red carpets to missing persons. So I mean, I feel like this is a lot more. It feels better than to just blow smoke up an actor's ass. And do you know what I'm saying? It does. Like I had some good conversations on the red carpet, but I really enjoy doing this and trying to help people.
Missing
Help.
persons investigations, Lauren, have you
Oh yeah.
have you been a part of any what's the word I'm looking for? Anyone that they've found alive and well? Alive?
Unfortunately, not.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, not yet. I mean,
I mean,
like
it does happen, but it happens right away.
that exactly right
I
away.
hate to tell
So
people that, but when you go beyond 3-4 days,
yeah,
well, but most crimes by good police departments and good agencies
hmm
are solved within the first 24 to 48
Why
hours.
is-
Because those are the ones where the evidence is quite clear and very apparent, and you can,
Track it down and figure it out.
I mean,
Yeah.
most murders, we always start off with logic, right?
right.
You always begin with the person with the biggest motive. Not always the case,
Right.
well, I've forgotten the statistics, but somewhere around 75,
with
80%.
spouses.
Yeah.
What?
Person with the biggest motive did the murder. You know, that's why when they used to do all those detective stories,
Yeah.
movies, it was always the butler who did it, which was a little ridiculous because the poor butler
So
never much of a
stupid.
murder.
Did you see? Did you see New York Homicide on Netflix? Is that what it's called, Mikey?
Yeah.
You should watch that. It's so good.
I love those. shows.
It's like the Carnegie Deli murder. They
stuff.
covered. Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff when I believe when you were either yeah, of course. But I'm saying it's like I think it was when you were a prosecutor or you were mayor or something. Yeah. Yeah. That's Amanda Grzuski. Mhm. Thank you for doing that.
Most of it was when.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What?
It was the Carnegie Deli one, the Central Park Lake one, where
Oh, yeah.
the teenagers. Stop. Ugh. Yeah, his intestines were out. It's horrible.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You wanna-
that was
I'll
awful.
put a clearer picture on of that,
Yeah. Get,
of Amanda.
who should, for Amanda, what state?
It's New Hampshire.
New
It's
Hampshire.
the Derry PD. They should contact.
You know, they have Londonderry and Derry, right?
Yeah, but this is Derry, so
Are they-
this is yes, they are. And look, you know New Hampshire like I do.
Oh, is that from
Isn't
And you
Sherman
guys will be
Island,
there.
from Northern Ireland too? Isn't there a Londonderry and a Derry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Both.
Yes, both. Hmm.
So
No,
I do have to,
that-
I do
yeah.
have to tell people,
Oh,
'cause I was really tired today.
Yeah.
Poor me.
oh, can I have one? Huh.
Balance of nature,
Yeah.
Promo code Rudy.
fruits and
Of
veggies.
course you can.
Oh, my kids should get those. I
Yeah,
should get it for
yeah.
kids. Okay.
I think they're very good for kids. You know, this, we'll get you some. for
Thank
sure.
you.
Dr. Howard would love to have you on the list.
Perfect.
Um, So basically this gives you your necessary supply of fruits and vegetables per day. It's about 50 different fruits and vegetables, different pills, condensed,
I love that word, pulverized.
pulverized.
I do. I love it. Thank you for showing those pictures of the
Well, thank
missing
you for
people.
letting
Yeah.
us do that.
No,
I mean,
I appreciate it really. And I know the families appreciate it and their loved ones and their children especially. And Sebastian is a child. So it's I as a mother, I just can't imagine. So
What's the hands of? Migrants?
no,
No.
I mean, I don't know. They're missing. So I have no idea. I mean, yeah, they're
no, they don't commit all the
yeah,
crimes,
no.
but they have unfortunately taken even before they started their wave of crimes.
I don't. It's okay.
Going
Sorry.
through, we've been going through a wave of since 2020. We've been going through one wave of crime after another, one wave
Yeah.
of crime after another.
Oh, and that's so sad.
She-
Yeah, she has a bit. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And like I said, I mean, you know the story of Harmony Montgomery. Like
Mhm,
I can't. They still don't have her body, and I'm like, it drives me insane that her stepmom is out. Like she's out of jail. Her stepmom because she gave up Adam Montgomery.
Well, let me say about this other woman
Hmm.
who was on Real Housewives
Oh, Jen
in
Shaw.
New York, who is going to leave New York now.
Which one is? I don't know. Mayor.
Mackenzie.
See, this is where everybody mistakes me for knowing all that garbage. I truly don't.
She made quite a statement. She said that Adams is a posturer.
Oh,
And what happened is her daughter, I guess, who's a high school student, was on the subway, and this guy came up to her daughter and frightened the living daylights out of her.
oh.
And and she said she just can't take it anymore. She herself has been,
She herself had to be impacted.
And she-
of course.
well, no, she actually I think she got hit also.
Let me show you what I carry.
And I don't know.
I'm going to show you this. Well, my daughter and I were getting our nails done on Sunday, and we just got back, and you know, I'm Mikey actually has been very good at telling me to have situational awareness. What is it?
Leah McSweeney was.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know her.
Is she famous?
But yeah, I guess she is. But no, there's a guy in the window, starts banging on the window. My 7-year-old daughter's right there, and he starts dancing and banging and making faces at us for a good minute. It was a very long time. And like it wasn't a big deal, but I think it's now the fact that you know that people are so crazy and they know that there's no consequences. So you're like, well, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna do next? And I'm like ready. I have like wasp spray that I carry that it's like stronger than mace.
Yeah.
I'm ready to, I'm not scared to use it. I'm really not.
I mean,
So
they've turned New York into a state of criminals because they've even frightened or put the fear of God into defending yourself.
well,
They go on trial for your
right.
life if you defend yourself.
well, if you, yeah, and I think something that is offensive that Kathy Hochul had said is she said something like, it's not the justice system in New York is not fair to black and brown people. And I thought to myself, well, why are you assuming that they're criminals? I feel like that's
Not
very
fair to me.
offensive. But I'm saying it's very offensive for you to say that and to point.
I'll tell you that.
I didn't get that. And the whole, she passed a law. I don't know if you saw this, but that after 8 years, your criminal record is sealed. You don't have to share anything with employers. And I understand that people deserve second chances. Of course, everyone, or not everyone, some people do. But there are loopholes, she said, oh, it's not, if you're a rapist or a murderer, we're obviously not going to seal that. But it's, again, somebody watches someone's child get murdered. You really want them out of jail? I don't, it seems bizarre to me. But
Let's listen to O'Reilly with
Yeah.
Chris Cuomo, who I think gives a very, very succinct description
Mm.
of the crooked court system in the city of New York, minus Staten Island. Democrat, you think that you vote for judges, but you don't. Democratic bosses pick the judges. And I can't remember when I had a judge on the ballot that was opposed. I mean, it's like China or the Soviet Union used to be. Nobody runs against because Communist Party and the Democrats share in common a one party government.
Anointed, not elected.
They're selected by Democrat hacks.
If you don't know that the state of New York's justice system has collapsed entirely, you don't want to know. You're lying to yourself. This is beyond disgraceful. This is so dangerous. There is not one resident in this state where we both are who is safe. Not one. And then it goes down from the governor to the mayor to the judges. And believe me, this Bowen's the worst of them. But there are scores of these judges.
I really do think the judges of New York, the entire system, should be subjected to a Knapp commission in which we find out how they were appointed, what they had to do to get appointed, did they make contributions to the party, have the party officials interfered with them? What the hell is a party operative doing sitting on the lap of Judge Engelmoron during the trial? That woman that's sitting there with him, I mean, she's a Democrat Party worker. She's supposed to be a member of the judiciary where it's illegal and unethical to do that. She's made contributions to like 17 different Democratic clubs. She's carried petitions. She's run for office. And she's sitting there making sure that he screws Trump, because that's what this is all about. And look at the prosecutor. I mean, they can't select even one honest prosecutor. Got Fanny the Hoe in Atlanta and Loverboy, who doesn't know how to ask. I mean, I was questioned by Loverboy for 4 hours or 5 hours. Really was like 1 hour. Most of it was inarticulate gibberish. I mean, I never thought I'd get indicted. I didn't think they could write. And of course, I didn't get indicted. The grand jury didn't vote for my indictment originally. She filed it and forgot to get them to vote, which gives you an idea of how brainy Fanny the Hoe is. And Fanny the Hoe, as I said, under oath, said that she took her campaign money and used it to reimburse Loverboy, which of course is a bunch of garbage. And that's a crime, but not in Atlanta or Georgia. The governor's really on top of it too. I mean, he's really doing a good job making his state look really slimy because he doesn't have the guts to remove the prosecutor, the judge, or anything. But he's got Kemp. Someday all of Kemp's problems will come out.
Can I just say one thing
It's
about
not just one-sided there.
About Chris Cuomo? I find myself very much in the middle with a lot of things, and I've been avoiding. You've got two extremes, right? At 8:00, you've got Anderson Cooper, Jesse Waters, and obviously you have, I don't even know who's on Newsmax, Rob Schmidt. Or maybe not.
Bolling.
Sorry, Eric Bolling, whatever. I find myself watching Chris Cuomo. I mean, I do. I find myself sometimes heading over to News Nation to be center.
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul was a moderate.
I do. I think he's I do. I'm not kidding.
I
Do you
know
not think
Chris.
he's a moderate now?
Oh, I don't think
You think he's a Democrat?
through and through.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. This is what he's trying to do. He is. I guess it's sometimes for someone like me, I don't want to hear like certain things the whole time, So I'm just like, okay, like I'll just watch him right now. 'Cause I feel like
For a second, I was watching, and then I heard him say, "Oh no, forget it. He's right there."
But Russian collusion, hook, line,
understand.
and sinker. He sold it.
bother me as much
He
as
sold it, and he's never really adequately apologized for participating in what was one of the most heinous crimes committed in the United
I'm
States.
not talking about his brother, FYI. I'm literally not.
Why the heinous,
Mhm.
the heinous crime is trying to remove a lawfully elected president based upon purchased fraudulent evidence.
Yeah.
We now know that Hillary Clinton purchased the Russian collusion.
Mm.
All of those anti-American hateful people like Rachel Maddow or Mad Cow, that's what I like to call her. But I mean, he's smart enough to know it was a bunch of bull. And he's never, I mean, he did a wimpy little apology. I mean, how about the year and a half in which they all circulated the absolute, that I was a Russian pawn. I mean, I'd like to get all of them in a room and take them all 51 on. Oh, they're so damn old anyway, they wouldn't be able to. I mean, and these are the guys, now you can see why our intelligence is so bad.
Yeah.
First of all, just as an academic matter, there was no indicia of Russian anything about the hard drive. What are they talking about? I heard the whole hard drive. There's nothing in Russian on the hard drive, except maybe a couple of the prostitutes that Pervert was with. And how about he's a danger to little children and they cover it up? How about the fact that he was a partner with Whitey Bulger's nephew and Red China, and Cuomo covered that up?
Oh, Andrew Cuomo or Mario.
Andrew.
Oh, okay.
President's judge.
Mm.
We may get fired and not get our $2 million. What was the name of the little fat pig that used to run that place?
Yeah.
Well, Zucker.
I see him. On every.
Was it Zucker or Zuckerberg?
Really?
Well, he would call them up and tell them what they had to say. How about the guy? I mean, I don't even want to mention it. The guy that used to be a conservative and he turned that way so he could make money. I mean, they are the scum of the earth, MSNBC and CNN. The scum of the earth. We would not be in the trouble we are in if we had a vaguely honest press. I played a week ago. Honest reporters reporting on Joe Biden in 1988, in which they said, after all of his lies, incredibly pathological lies, oh my goodness, luckily this man will never be president. These were liberal reporters. Did you ever hear these scum say that?
Wow.
They're now going after Trump for politicizing the death of the officer. First of all, when he walked out of that funeral home that the little piece of shit president should have gone to, instead he was with Epstein's best friend and the guy who gave hundreds of millions to terrorists. That's former President Clinton. Epstein, 27 trips on the plane. Yeah, 27 trips on the plane, Bill. And we know what you used to concentrate on.
Flick Willie.
Number two, the telephone calls. Well, we know you're a really screwed up individual. And then the other guy gave hundreds of millions of dollars in cash to terrorists. Prince Obama should be in jail for the rest of his life for money laundering. You can't get, I mean, it can't. For what earthly reason would a government want cash from you? They had any legitimate purpose for what they were doing. And then, I mean, even the communist trained Obama had to hear that it's kind of rumored that Iran is the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world, like the biggest. And then they say, hey, Prince, how about giving it to us in cash? So now he's not stupid like Biden. I don't know. He comes from Chicago. You got to know why they wanted that cash. They wanted that cash so they could kill Americans. And they did. And luckily,
Truthful.
luckily, Trump took the guy out, and Biden was against that killing also. Because as Gates said, Biden has never been right on anything having to do with foreign policy. This isn't, this is extraordinarily serious. They have our country. In 2020, we were fighting to preserve our way of life. They have now taken it away from us. They took it away from us when Jill Biden said that the little children couldn't put religious symbols on the eggs.
Yeah, that was sad.
Where does the stepmother in chief come off telling them what they can write? What does she get to amend the First Amendment?
That
That
was-
free exercise of
yeah.
religion. You realize the horrible things they do. I'll give you one other, and then we'll conclude. Nobody that died in Ukraine based on Putin's invasion, the Russians or the Ukrainians, would have to have died if they didn't cheat in that last election. And they didn't hide the hard drive, because 10% right away of the voters said they would have voted against Biden if they knew about the hard drive. So if Trump were president, I want you to do It's a Wonderful Life. Remember when he gets to go back, and if he weren't alive, all these people would be dead. And
Yeah.
okay, if Trump were president, there isn't a chance in the world that Putin would have invaded Russia or invaded Ukraine. Not a chance in the world. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you all know that, but let's prove it. Putin has invaded 3 times in the last 14 years. He invades when he has a weak president. He did it under Bush. He invaded Georgia. Then he looked at the communist trained Prince Obama, who was giving money out to terrorists. And every time he was looking at Obama, I could see in his eyes, a trained KGB guy, and you're some kind of a wussy activist trained by the communists who brainwashed you, dummy. He'd look at him like, I got to be with this guy. So he said, okay, I'll take a big chunk of Ukraine. You're not going to do anything about it. You put down 10 red lines or 12 red lines on in Syria, didn't do anything about it. I had to come in and bail you out. So now, yeah, you're a good guy to take advantage of. 4 years in which he didn't do anything. It's different. There's a guy named Trump was different because he didn't know what Trump would do. And Trump used to tell him, don't let me, I don't like war. I don't want to have to bomb Moscow. We even asked Trump once, he and I asked him, do you think Putin believed you? Trump said, yeah, at least 10%. That's all he has to do.
Wow.
That's all you got to do. That's a genius remark from a guy that they terrorize. And then, of course, as soon as Stumble Bumble came in, it was a foregone conclusion. I'm surprised he didn't go further. I mean, and he waited, actually. He waited until he got all those people killed in Afghanistan who don't have to be dead. I mean, a reasonably smart 15-year-old would figure out that you don't take out the troops before the civilians when the country is surrounded by terrorists, who, by the way, you're going to give $85 billion worth of arms to. You're going to let people kill that way, Joe. And then nobody who was a loyal American would give up an air base 400 miles from China, Bagram. That convinced me that you got to be a fool to think that the family got $21 million and somehow he decides to just give up this airbase. That's tactically probably one of the greatest assets we have, 400 miles from China. Just think of how different a war will be now when we don't have the advantage of that. A lot more Americans will get killed. He doesn't give a damn if Americans get killed. Remember when he was at the airport greeting the 13 who died?
Look at his watch.
Gotta go get my ice cream. I gotta go get my ice cream. I wonder if Hunt just got any money for me. I do get half of everything he makes. Have all. You know why I know he gets half of everything that Hunter made? Because Hunter told me on December 19th, 2018, in a text to his daughter. For 30 years, I've been giving half my income to my father. Now, why do you think they don't publish that? Because they cover up for the bum, and that's why they're disloyal Americans. I mean, I can't even watch them. It gets sick to my stomach to watch. And then what they're doing to our kids. Oh,
And they're not letting up, Mayor, as you know.
letting up. It's going to get
It's
worse.
gonna keep getting worse as we get closer and closer to November. And we've talked about it many times. They will do anything to keep this man from getting back in.
Well, that's why I
They
worry.
will do anything.
That's why I worry about these polls. I mean, look, we all say that in politics, we don't pay attention to polls. And of course, we pay unbelievable attention to polls.
Mhm.
Anybody who says in politics they don't pay attention to polls is lying to you. First of all, it's the only thing you have. It's unless you do what I did, and to some extent, Trump used to do more of. He can't do it as much now when you go talk to people a lot.
Yeah.
Even when I was mayor, I would hang out in diners.
Yeah.
We had a lot more diners then, but I used to like to hang out in diners and then do what I do. I just have people come over and talk to me.
They'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah, if they don't like something, or my radio show that I did every week. I would do my radio show and I do a monologue at the beginning because I thought it'd be like Rush Limbaugh, my friend Rush Limbaugh. Then I get the first call. Mayor Giuliani? Yes, Rose. You're reforming the city, aren't you? Yeah, I am. Some reform. I got a tree in front of my house for the last 2 weeks and nobody from the damn sanitation department even takes my goddamn call. Okay, Rose, you just reminded me of what my job really is. We'll get somebody out there. We'll get somebody out there.
You were giving these monologues on this high-minded.
Yeah, we were talking about Israel.
Yeah.
I went to Israel as mayor. I went to the only country I went to, foreign country I went to. I went to Canada once.
You went to Israel after the volley.
Canada doesn't count.
I went to Israel 3 times.
But it's when you went there that makes it.
I went to ride the bus
You
with.
went there when others wouldn't go.
I went there when the mayor called me and asked me.
You help bring comfort and you help make it easier for people to return to some sense of normalcy.
I thought I was doing that. I didn't really have to. They gave me a sense of courage. I was very glad I did that because when I went there, they had just bombed. They'd just done a bunch of bombings in Tel Aviv and a bunch of bombings in Jerusalem, and they bombed this particular bus. And I went to ride the bus the first time they put the bus back in service to say to the people, don't be afraid. Well, you don't have to tell the Israelis not to be afraid. They tell you not to be afraid. They are exceptional people. And what Biden has done in double crossing them.
Unforgivable. What?
Now he's put an ultimatum down. Just a few weeks ago, he said that they should not have a ceasefire until the hostages are released. Now he wants a ceasefire before the hostages are released. Pretty soon he's going to want Netanyahu to turn himself over to them. I mean, he is such a liar.
The worst.
I mean, that's the second big lie that he told today. The other one is that he never was in favor of closing the border, even though for 2.5 months he was.
Man, is there a chance the Iranians? I'm convinced we've been infiltrated at the highest levels.
Of course we have.
For them to be taking the position they're taking on.
The FBI is still working on the Iranian spy that worked for Biden.
Yeah.
He's been his classifications have been taken away. You think they're going to solve that before the election? You think our federal Biden bureau is going to they're like the Stasi in Germany. And then I love the way they dress up to go arrest people who are demonstrating against abortion. They use the same outfits they used for the January 6 people.
Probably normalization. part of the normalization.
Meanwhile, the illegal aliens that came over the border, who sent some of those National Guardsmen to hospitals. The judge let them all out.
Crazy.
You can beat the hell out of the National Guard, but if you touch the Capitol Police, you go to jail for the rest of your life, even if they kill for you
Oh, so bad.
and get away with it. Well, they got away with one. The other three, we're not sure. But the only 4 people to die were Trump people.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they lied about that. That's another thing they did. They did the hysterical January 6th, worse than Pearl Harbor,
Yeah.
worse than insurrection.
They had to use
A
that.
thousand cases, and they haven't been able to prove one insurrection case, and they're going to stop him from being president based on an insurrection that never happened.
They're trying to do.
Okay,
But
so boys, we got any questions?
Nope.
well,
I have-
yes.
No, you just want to get out of here.
I actually have Rich Valdez's show that I have to go to, so I do have to go.
Say hello.
I will say hello. I'm going on at
Rich.
10. So yeah.
What, Lauren,
Oh.
quickly explain to us what's next. What should people be watching for in the Diddy case?
For him to be charged, they're looking at flash drives, laptops, anything that would indicate that he is a part of this human trafficking operation. So we will wait and see if he gets charged with anything. I'm very eager to know. So let's
Yeah.
see, guys. Let's see.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Give everyone my love. All right.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna take a look around Derry for you. All right.
We'll keep you up on that.
Dude, thank you so much. I'll tell you to follow this guy, New Hampshire News. He's got a big following.
Maybe, yeah.
So
And keep us up on all these missing persons. We definitely will.
Well,
We'll keep up our
really
exposure of
appreciate
that.
it.
So I do have to inform everyone, since this is the last time. We got tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll be able to talk about the
Clips.
eclipse tomorrow night. But did you notice that it has been reported that a number of the glasses that have come in have been done by the Chinese, and they don't work, which means you go blind. And I can't get a good number. So once again, the Chinese are attacking us. They send fentanyl in, they sent COVID in. Now they're sending in glasses that'll make you blind. Now it does say that you can tell. It may even have, the official approval on it. I think it does. I think they just copied that, because they copy everything. But for some reason, they're not as smart as they think they are. They look like sunglasses. They don't look like sunglasses. They're black as hell. Okay. Yeah, they're black as hell. Now they are just little pieces of whatever, and they aren't very, very imposing, but they're very dark. So you see something. I don't know if it says made in China, but if it was made in China, I'd burn it, and I'd rather not even look at the eclipse. And then just forget it. Your eyes are more important, and we'll show it to you on. And I'm sure everybody will show it to you. Although I am looking forward to experiencing it. And it allows for a great deal of meditation and thinking. And what did human beings in the thousands and thousands of years ago think about this? And there's a lot of, maybe we'll go through some of that tomorrow. There are a lot of myths about this.
Dogs.
A lot of mythology. Also, the animals, when the lights come on again,
That's what I'm.
it's only a 3-minute. Now, well, the dogs go a little bit crazy when the lights go out. They really go crazy when the lights come back on again. Because I think they think it's not. I think, okay, it's nighttime. They get used to it, and all of a sudden, in 3 minutes, boom.
It's amazing how it drops. It gets cold.
Oh, didn't even
And
think
it
of that.
does, man. Let me tell you.
No.
Oh, and I've experienced it.
You experienced a full eclipse?
I don't think it was full, but it was full.
Partial.
But it was full enough.
You felt the what you felt?
right? Was it?
Well, you're going to have it again on Monday. You're going to about 95%. Yeah, about 95%, right?
Oh, here you'll have 95%.
Yeah,
Okay.
95 or 98. It's pretty. I mean, look, it's only in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo, 100%. And Steven, I think Steven's gonna come out, he's gonna bring a tent. So if we have other people that wanna come out, we might have room in the tent.
You got a few flashlights too. They said to have a few flashlights.
We're working on an RV, Mayor, for you, so.
Oh, I just live on the ground.
You don't strike me as the biggest camper. It's not-
Well, if we do it the way we think we're going to do it, you guys who are on tonight, you got to go to wabcradio.com, or you can get the app. It costs you nothing. Get the app, and at 3:00, put it on, because hopefully, if we work it out right and they don't throw us out, we're going to be outside, and it's going to be. I'm going to do my show in the dark. Now, people say I do it in the dark anyway, but I actually don't. I do a lot of preparation, right? We don't just wing it. We really prepare. Look at all the news and try to figure out which is what I'm really looking for are the things. I'll show it to you. This is I first do the show at 3. And there it is right here. See, so this is today's show. We don't cover it all. Never do. I need about 3 hours to cover it all, but we have a lot of options. Trump leading. Then we have, to remind you about the Islanders 50-50, then the border. Biden will not close the border under any circumstances. 6 of 8 alien squatters who were busted on gun charges are already free. And the judges' names are Judge Eugene Bowman and Judge Lawrence Bushing, and they both are the lowest court, the criminal court, appointed by the mayor. I didn't cover Somali terrorists. Somali terrorist was caught coming into the United States, a really dangerous one, which evaded our relentless vetting for a year, enough time to blow the hell out of us. Then we have the alien crime wave. I covered a lot of that with Laken Riley and Ibarra, and the horrible case with Jonathan Diller. Biden sleeping late. You're not going to get that in the regular news. There's a major population decline. And the guy who wrote the article in the Post is hilarious, because he said it's really dramatic, the population. Nobody's having babies, including China. And you know who's not really having babies? The left wing.
Yes.
So he said pretty soon the whole world will be made up of Orthodox Jews, Orthodox Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and Orthodox Muslims. They're the ones having babies. Wouldn't that be funny?
The society becomes because there's no youth to.
Well, no, we're going to be very and it's China is the worst, because China killed off all the girl babies. I mean, China is such an awful regime, and that's why I've almost got sick watching the great parade for Xi Jinping in San Francisco, in which they turned it into what I guess they wanted to be a communist city, waving communist Chinese flags. Imagine waving Chinese communist flags. They've only killed 80 million of their own people. And a bunch of dogs and cats were brought in yesterday, over 100 saved from the Chinese restaurants in China. You're not going to hear that, because that's xenophobic. So let the dogs and cats die. What the heck? We don't want to embarrass anybody. The eclipse, they're trying to take advantage of that by sending in phony glasses. I can't tell you what I have written here about what Z did to Joe. But he made a fool out of him. The war in Israel, the Bidenistas are working hard to save Hamas. whatever they can do to keep Hamas. You know, now they're threatening. Now they're threatening Bibi with they're not going to support him unless he does a ceasefire. But I've been telling them for a week and a half, get it over with and go. I mean, I knew they were going to do something like this. So, I mean, really, Hamas is our ally and Israel's our enemy. I mean, it's been that way since Biden started thinking he might lose 4 votes. And Ted and I were looking at the vote in both of those places. They only make up 2-3%. I mean, if the Jewish people get serious and do what Dershowitz asked them to do, I mean, man,
If the Biden people are willing to put all of American foreign policy on, where they're putting it because they're afraid of a few thousand votes in Dearborn, Michigan.
China fake glasses.
Well, man.
Also, the Prime Minister of England, a conservative, he was appalled by what Israel did. He was appalled.
Really?
What do you think happens in war? What the hell did you do to Germany? They deserved it because they did it to you. You were killing civilians. You weren't like sending little messages down and telling them to go south and go north and go this way and go that way. And the Germans weren't taking their kids and putting them on top.
Right.
You were killing them because you were vindictive and angry because they came and they did it to you. So shut your mouth. This is war. I don't know if some nation next to you swore for 50 years they're going to kill all of you and eliminate you. You'd be one hell of a prime minister if you didn't try to stop them. Maybe you're not much of a prime minister. I can't even pronounce your name. Rishi Sunak? Sunak? Sundown? Yeah. Yeah. You know you're not going to win, too. I don't even think they have conservatives there anymore, except for Nigel, my friend Nigel.
Great, Nigel Farage.
I think Nigel's the only guy left. Even Piers Morgan. You're talking about. The last time I talked to Piers Morgan, I had such a terrible fight with him. But now I like a lot of stuff that he's writing.
Boris Johnson. Much of a conservative.
So I had a debate once,
Who has better food, London or New York? Go.
That's not even the debate.
I was hungry. You just ruined my appetite. Just thinking about English food. Fish and chips. Even their fish and chips are off.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, how do you ruin fried food? I mean, I could.
I'm gonna find that online. That's good.
Oh, by the way, you should know that Adam set a record. This last year, New York City had the most assaults in the history of the city, including David Dinkins. And the idiot doesn't know why, when he says it's very safe in the city, everybody laughs at him and looks at him like he's nuts. It's because of the numbers. So this is very important because, you see, it really is helpful if you're the mayor, if you're intelligent. It is. And you can do things like reason and read numbers. And it really helped being intelligent and having a good education at a school that didn't brainwash me. But I want to get the numbers out here. So last year we had something like 300 to 400 murders, right? And probably, I'm guessing on shootings, 2,000. I'm guessing on that. I don't remember. But let's go. So he brought down murder and shootings by like 4 or 5%. So what's
in numbers?
In numbers, that's like 100, 200 people affected. Okay. Meanwhile, do you know how many?
2.4% from last year. That's it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, major crime is up 7.5%. Serious assaults are up 17%. There are hundreds of thousands of those. So when crime comes down, you don't see it, you don't feel it, you don't know it because you're not affected by it. Even when you say, well, 70% of black and only 8% of white, still, even that 70% is a small number. But 70% of the assaults isn't a small number. It's in the 50,000s, the 70,000s. So when that goes up 10%, you got 10,000 more crimes, not 2,000. So you're telling people, oh, you're safe, and a woman just got her jaw broken, or a man just got thrown on the subway. So Adams is saying, we're very safe, and this is just a question of positioning and public relations, and you shouldn't blame me. He actually said that. You shouldn't hold me responsible. Meanwhile, the person hears that, and their kid comes home with a black eye, gets shot in a crossfire. They read about the guy thrown on the subway. They read about the women that are getting punched in the face. And they say, what kind of liar are you? That's stupid. To think that his small decrease, it's like the reduction in murder really started under Jenkins. It did. He got 1% reduction. And then it went up the next year, and I took over a city with 2,000 murders. It went up again by 1%. I mean, it was like playing, and he had the cops. He didn't know what to do with them. I mean, you have to have cops, yes. You also have to know what to do with them. And Scheinkoff, Hank Scheinkoff, made the point. He's a Democratic political advisor that he is right. This state isn't helping him, and he's down to dreadfully very, very few cops because he never made up for the defunding. But he still has to be able to do a better job of maneuvering his police. But he doesn't. I know he doesn't understand CompStat. And I'm going to tell you another thing. And get angry at me if you want. He's not capable of understanding. I would never have put him as a cop to do CompStat. Nor would I bother to listen to any advice he had of it because we wouldn't understand it. I mean, one of the things you got to figure out as a boss, a mayor, a governor, a president, or a general is who are the incompetents and who are the bullshit artists and who are the real people. You get the real people, you win. You start listening to the bullshit artists and And CompStat is a very alluring program. You get the wrong numbers, you make the wrong decisions. If you are not really, really dedicated to making sure and scrubbing those numbers, the numbers are going to tell you to move the cops, and you can move them to the wrong place. Okay, well, we had a big long night. We got a big night tomorrow, big day tomorrow, and we're getting ready for the eclipse. So we have to do a lot of preparation. We want to say a prayer for those missing people. That Lauren was so kind. What a nice person she is. What a good person. That's a good person that does that. I know Maria likes to do that too. And thank you, Lauren. And say a prayer for them that they're that we find them. And again, say a prayer for the people of Israel. They really are being screwed over by Biden. They really are. This is horrible what he's doing to an ally. I mean, really, the Islamic terrorists are our allies. We give them a fortune. God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow. Is to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, The reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,